Okay.
No,
Tell me about that grind. Tell me
I was
about that grind.
struggling. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, it's so funny because, like, I'll talk to you about this, and this is, like, the $1 million question that everyone always wants to know. And it's so funny because, like, life is not easy. And, like, the way of, like, success is never, like, a straight path.
Attention, all my creatives. I don't care what kind of creative you are. I need you to listen to me very closely, all right? Or maybe you're just trying to connect with some creatives. I need you to remember this name, Maker's Gym. You guys, Maker's Gym is a new creative co-working concept, the dopest I have ever seen in my life. No exaggeration. Look, it gives its members access to state-of-the-art production studios, production equipment. You get training and educational classes. You get vast co-working amenities, and even better than that, a network of up-and-coming talent and businesses. So make sure you look them up, Maker's Gym. I won't create anywhere else. Check them out, y'all. Welcome to The Dash. You know, The Dash is that tiny line between your life start date and end date. It's your story, chapters in your book, your journey. Get ready for real conversations with real people telling real stories about the realities of failure, setbacks, and success. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. We're rolling. Let's go. The Dash in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so today, y'all, I am excited. I am excited because I have been following this man on social media. I swear, it seems like forever. And I have watched your evolution. Y'all know him as, I am Lee Stacks on social media.
Yeah.
Look, I'm finding out his government name today. I'm getting all the details, okay? His name is Les, but we're going to call him Lee Stacks so that y'all recognize him from social media. Not only is he a guru when it comes to real estate.
I know, like the back of my hand.
Yes, you are. I would consider you a social media influencer too. Like, I don't know if you realize that.
I try not to be because I feel like the definition and the people that I know of social media influencers, they tend to be very lame or lackluster in person. So I like that term is so like.
It's loosely used.
Yes, it sounds cool, but it's like the people I know that are like big social media influencers, and I'm pretty sure you can say the same thing. When you actually meet them in person, you're like, what's the hype about? Like they're always on their phone, and you can't hold a conversation with them, or they don't know anyone, or you're like, oh, you're only like that on the internet. I'm not.
No, you're you in real life.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And in all honesty, you have even way more personality than what you're able to display. So I will give you that from social media.
I don't want to scare the people away.
No, we're not going to scare the people. We're going to attract the people because they need to come to you. So let's talk about you being a multi-million-dollar real estate agent. First of all, kudos to you.
Thank
because
you.
if people follow you on social media, like I don't even be having the money, but you know how we want to call you and be like, can I have that house?
Can I have
please?
that house?
Yes.
Can I put it on layaway?
Yeah, exactly. Is that an option? So we're going to talk about all that. But when I first started following you, I remember what attracted me to you. You did seem like a ball of fun, right? You were selling these beautiful homes, but at the time, you don't do it as much anymore. You were popping bottles. You were designer down. You were jumping on jets.
Yeah.
So, but you're really young. So let's talk about how did we get to this point? I'm hearing an East Coast. Story. Okay, we'll shorten it for the sake of time, but East Coast. You're from the East Coast.
Born and raised in New York, Brooklyn, New York.
Give me Brooklyn vibes, like hands down. So how the heck do you end up in Texas?
If you knew Brooklyn, you would know why you left Brooklyn. I don't know. They say like Atlanta's like Black Hollywood.
Yeah.
To me, Brooklyn is like Black Hollywood. Like New York itself, everyone's always hustling. Like New York is like the city of hustlers. And when I say everyone, like the thing in New York, someone's always trying to scam you. Someone's always trying to get over on you. Someone has everyone has 6 different gigs. Like they do hair, they do makeup, they do lashes, they work at UPS, they're an event planner. The males, they're like personal trainers, attorneys / real estate agents / sneaker plugs and fitness trainers. Like everyone always trying to do something. Like, and then everyone's hustling. Like I think it's normally in my blood. My mom was a single parent. I grew up in a 5-person household. So it was my mom and my grandmother who raised me. and my brother and my sister.
Okay.
I was the oldest, so everyone's always like, "You're the only child." I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm the oldest." They're like, "Oh," or like if they ask me if I'm the only child, I tell them no, and then they're like, "Oh, you're the youngest," and I'm like, "No, no, I'm the oldest," and then they're like, "Really? Like you give me only child or youngest?" And I'm like, "I'm not." But I had the most responsibilities, which is why, and I got treated fairly, you know. Anytime I had good grades, my mom would, give me nice things. So I think that's always been like the mindset I had, which was like, get nice, you do good things and you get nice things. You're nice to people and people treat you nicely. And just be a good person, right? Like that's always been my mindset. Like if I want something, all I have to do is be nice. And I think a lot of people don't realize that like literally all you guys have to do in this world is be nice, be genuine, be a vibe. Anyone that knows me, like literally from like way back in Brooklyn growing up, everyone will tell you the same thing, which was like, oh, Leston, like, oh, he's a lot, but like he's always been about his money. He's always been well dressed. He's always been popular. He always knows everyone's business. It's not like he spends it, but he knows everyone, and that's always been my thing from when I was young. So as I got older and it was time to like wake up and be like, hey, I'm about to be an adult, I think I wanted to realize like what profession can I do to where like my traits now can help me make money. I like to meet people. I like to be around people. I like to dress nice. I like to go out. I like to make money. I love to spend money. What can I do to, live that lifestyle? When I looked at certain careers, like real estate was one of them. And that's kind of sort of why I got into real estate. And I was wondering, like, should I go to Jersey to do that? But then Jersey was so close to New York. And I didn't like the old grungy homes of, like, Jersey, And, I was looking at, like, Texas. And to me, like, all the homes in Texas, when I moved here in 2013, were all really, really nice. And I was like, oh, Texas has nice houses. Like, you know what? I'm going to go to school in Texas. I'm going to live in Texas, and I'm going to sell Texas houses. And that was always my mindset. And literally that's what I did when I moved here.
Really? So you knew. You were determined.
Oh, yeah.
And have not veered from this course.
I had a vision.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, and you say you get that from your mom.
I get good and bad things from my mom.
Okay, we're not going to talk about bad things.
Maybe the vision I didn't get from her. I think I got that from just being a hustler and just like a product of my environment. The being a good person I got from my mom and not letting people take advantage of you or getting caught up in the wrong crowd as a young black man I got from my mom, because my mom actually was a captain at Rikers Island in New York.
No, so there were no games to be played at the house.
Oh, at the house, we played lots of games.
Well, not with your mama, you didn't.
Oh, we did.
Oh, y'all
That's
did.
the funny thing about it. So, but like, and that's why I said anyone that, like, my mom was always at work and like always dealing with adolescents and misbehaved kids and kids who were misunderstood, wrong place at the wrong time, did not get love from their parents, did not get attention, couldn't eat, so they stole a honey bun. Wanted nice shoes, so they robbed someone. And so it was like when she came home, every single story she heard about like these young black boys, she just did not want her kids to be like them. So it was like whatever just think about a woman that's like, she just wants love, so she just stupid for her man.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, lady, what? Huh? Did you really do that? And like that's how my mom was with her kids.
Okay.
Like seriously. So it was like, Mom, I want shoes. Like, here you go. I'm like, hey, Mom, I want to go out with my friends. Like, okay, be safe. Here's a phone. Like, who are your friends? Like, can I drop you off? Can I meet them? Can I watch where y'all going? Can I meet their parents? I'm like, Mom, like, leave me alone. But, like, seriously, it was one of those things where she always told me, like, I'm going to drop you off here. Them people not your friends. That boy, watch that boy. I didn't really like the way he was looking at you. And this and this and this. And it would always happen. I would always come back, like, me and my mom are best friends.
Yeah.
And she would always be like, I told you about that. I told you about this person. I warned you about this person. And it became one of those things to where you kind of like see character traits in people.
Sure.
And that kind of like helped me as I got older to be like, oh, this person isn't my friend. I already know what they want from me. And that's fine. I'll play the game with them.
Absolutely.
But I'm not.
You're a good character read.
Yeah.
So before we even continue, you need your own TV show, right? Do people tell you that all the time?
I hear that all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I hear that all the time.
Hello, HGTV. This is it right here. What are we even talking about? This is like I'm watching every week. You are just a ball of energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you decide to come to school in Texas. You go to real estate school. You get licensed. Did you start selling $1 million homes? Okay.
No,
tell me about that grind. Tell me about that grind.
I was struggling. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, you know, it's so funny because, like, I'll talk to you about this, and this is, like, the $1 million question that everyone always wants to know. And it's so funny because, like, life is not easy. And, like, the way of, like, success is never, like, a straight path. And, like, seriously, like, when I first moved out here, I was always designer head to toe. Like, you could go back to photos of me from 15 years old. Like, not much has changed. That bottle popping you like to see, that's going to be done this weekend. So, now that you told me, because, you know, I'm going to New York this weekend for a friend's birthday. And it's going up. But, sorry, let's get back on track. So, I don't know. It was hard. Like, I first moved in, I didn't like anyone in Texas. I'm not going to lie to you. And I feel like that's why I stayed focused, like, my first 3, moved in when I was 18, 21. When I stayed focused when I was till about 21, 22, like, I didn't want to make friends. You know, like, I was very materialistic fresh out of New York. I was used to popularity. I was used to, like, a celebrity's son or, like, an attorney's son or someone's mom and dad owning a cool restaurant or a nightclub or a lounge or
So you were spoiled.
Because that's how New York is. Okay. You know, like, everything in New York is mom and pop owned.
Right.
You know, we didn't really have these big nightclubs and we didn't have, like, these chain restaurants.
Right.
You know, like, it would be like Jade and Friends would be like a lounge and Lady Jade would own it. And then your kids would party with other kids. And so it was like, hey, look, my friend, like, her mama own this. You know, I'm going to throw my Sweet 16 here and get half off. And so when I first moved to Texas, it was like I was around a bunch of working class people. And I was just not used to that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, like, I thought everyone I went to school with was lame. You know, and that's just how any New Yorker is once you leave New York.
Oh, of
like,
course.
So I'm
but
like,
you chose Texas.
And I did. And I was like, oh, like, I don't like this. I do not. And
did it seem really country to you when you came here?
Ghetto, not country.
Okay. Well, excuse me. Let me.
But I lived south. I lived south when I first moved here. So everyone thought I was African. And I was like, I'm Trinidadian. They was like, Trinidad what? I was like, Trinidadian. What's that?
You're Trini. I'm Jamaican.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes,
okay,
I figured that.
yes,
I picked that up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're an island girl. I picked that up. And I love people from the islands.
Yes.
West Indians, I love them.
Yes.
And, like, I kept having to tell so many people what that was. And I was like, huh? When, like, growing up in New York, like, 1 out of every 5 people are West Indian, especially in Brooklyn.
Sure.
So everyone knew what that was.
There's so much culture there.
Correct.
It's not here yet.
And so it was like, once I had to keep some people like, I'm from the islands, like Bahamas, Jamaica, Trinidad. Oh, yeah, Jamaica, I know that. Like, oh, I'm from New York. Oh, I've never been in New York. Like, where have you been? Texas? Like, have you been anywhere out of Texas? No, I only been to Texas. Like, oh, my family from, like, Louisiana or Oklahoma, but, like, that's it. And I'm like, y'all never been in New York. And so I think when I, like, heard those things, I just was like, I don't want to make friends. Like, everybody lame. And literally, I just focused on school the whole time. And I just, like, studied neighborhoods. I studied, like, Cedar Hill. I studied DeSoto. I studied Arlington. I studied, like, Highland Park and, like, Lakewood and Lake Highlands and Louisville and Frisco and Plano. And I had nothing else to do but just study real estate.
Right.
So it was like, once I finally started selling homes and I had my license, I already knew so much about a lot of these areas before I even worked in these areas. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was a blessing in disguise.
It was.
Yeah.
No, it definitely was. And then, like, I tell people all the time, like, real estate is like school. Real estate school has nothing to do with, like, the actual day-to-day. Like, what you learn in school has nothing to do with your day-to-day. They don't teach you how to meet people. They don't tell you how to deal with difficult situations. They don't tell you how to deal with personality types. They don't tell you how to deal with mental breakdowns. They don't tell you how to be supportive, relationship building. Like, they tell you how to write contracts, but writing a contract is, like, the last thing in a real estate transaction. The main thing is getting the client, building a relationship, building the trust, knowing about the neighborhood, knowing about the market. The contract is self-explanatory. You go to the tax records on DCAD or Colin CAD, and you pull every single thing you need to know about the legality about a house from the contract, and you put on the contract, and boom. That's not anything that really needs to be known.
Right.
It's when your client is like, what kind of floor is this and what kind of carpet and what paint color and these ceilings and this building, when was it built? Like, you don't learn that in school. You don't learn about building a relationship, because nobody wants to really work with a real estate agent. Like when you think of a real estate agent, you think of someone fly and good looking and intelligent and popular. And I think once I gasped that image of what a real estate agent was, I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going to focus on. I want to be that person that when you think of real estate, you think of me. And then when you ask me, what do you do? And I say real estate, you go, it makes sense. You look like a real estate agent.
Yes.
And I think that's really what made me just kind of like stand out over all these other people who are in real estate, is I learned how to make myself stand out to the masses.
I was just going to ask you that. What is the difference in you? Like, why do you get to sell the $1 million homes now? Because like you said, you started out on the same journey as everybody else. You had to go to real estate school. You had to go learn about, different types of flooring, different types of counters. You had to have that hands-on experience. Have you, obviously you've made mistakes along the way.
Oh, lots. Still do.
Tell me about a time that you didn't seal a deal and it was just it was completely on you. It had nothing to do with anything else. You dropped the ball. I'm going to get less to not be perfect.
No, when I used to, I'm not perfect still. And I would say when I used to party a lot, which is kind of like why you saw me slow down on that.
That's good.
Because I think for me, I don't know how to balance. I don't know that work-life balance. I feel like I'm always focused on one or two things. Okay. I can't do the partying and then work, and like I couldn't do school and I couldn't do hanging out. It had to be either or. And for me, it was like, I remember one time I had a client and he probably budgeted of like $500K. This was when I was a newer agent, which is still a lot because a lot of new agents don't even sell $500,000 houses. And this also was maybe 5 years ago when, OG Texas, $500K was almost a mansion.
Yes.
So
no
I had a
longer.
client, exactly, no longer, 500K is entry level now.
Yeah.
So I had a client, they had a $500,000 budget, and they wanted to look at houses. And they would send me just a list of so many listings they wanted to see. And I would go out every single weekend, and I would just ignore my clients' texts, ignore my clients' calls. I got them pre-approved. I had them on a buyer's rep agreement. I was like, they're not going nowhere. Like, I'm going to get my commission regardless. Like, I'm going to get my 3%. They're going to work with me. And they would text me, and I'd be out on my social media posting, popping bottles, taking shots. My friends are twerking. I'm like, hey. And, like, my client's like, hey, man, like, can you let me know if we're going to see this tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, 1 second. Let me look it up. I'll get back to you. But I'm at a day party and I'm ordering bottle service and I'm like not texting my client back, not calling my client back. And like this person's life was in my hand, and then they're like going to my social media like, hey man, if you're too busy, let me know. Like I'll find someone else, I'll let you live your life. I don't mean to like bother you or disturb you. Just let me know. I'm like, no, I'm good. I got you. And I remember just like scheduling like all the tours. And I'm like, look, I got us for 9 a.m. tomorrow from 9 till 12. We're going to look at houses. And I went out in that day. It was a Sunday. I went out Sunday night. I don't think I got home till like 4 o'clock Sunday morning. And I slept in and I missed all my tours. I woke up to this guy blowing up my phone, calling me and texting me. And like, I think it was like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock when I woke up. Mind you, we had it booked for 9 a.m.
Right.
We had maybe like 8 houses to look at. And like, I remember like looking at it. I'm like, damn, I'm not getting up right now. Like I'm hungover. It's too late. I'm going to text him later, and I just, like, never text him back. And then, like, I texted him. I was like, hey, man, sorry, like, I overslept. And yeah.
So now looking back, what was the lesson in that?
To take work serious. I think, and that's one of the things where, where you have to learn that as a real estate agent, you are a business person. And we were just joking about like these hairstylists and makeup artists and people like that who don't respect other people's time, which is like, hey, if you booked me for 9 a.m. and you're running behind, tell me that. That's fine. Right. Don't make me show up at 9 o'clock and you seat me at 10 a.m. Right. Like I have a life, like this is impossible.
Yeah.
I have other things to do.
Exactly.
And I think that was the learning lesson. I realized that that's what's going to make me stand out over other people because other people put their lives first. when they are working their business. And I learned to put my clients' lives first over mine because their lives are in my hand. They're putting their faith where they sleep, where they put their money, where they lay their head, where they're throwing their barbecues, their birthday parties, like where they're driving home to. That's in my hand. So I think once I started realizing that, hey, if you hire him as an agent, cool. If he's too busy, call me. Like, oh, well, no, this is my agent. This is my person. Like, we go way back. That's fine. That's cool. I'm not going to take you from anyone. But, like, if he messes up or slips up, I'm waiting for you to call me. I'll make myself available. I'll drop what I'm doing to take care of you. And I think once I had that mindset, people started rolling in, and they were like, you know what? I like working with him.
Professional.
He's professional.
I love that. And thorough.
Correct.
I love that.
Yeah.
The first house you ever sold, how much was it worth?
First house, it wasn't a lot.
That's what I love about it.
Okay. First real estate transaction I ever had was a mobile home of $125,000. It was in Alvarado, and that was after I was in the business for a year. The first house I ever sold was $275,000, and it was a Facebook referral, and it was a friend of mine who saw, like, I was doing open houses every single day. I was doing like house video tours, and I had a friend. She's like, hey, my mom just retired in New York. She's thinking about moving to Texas. She said she wanted to move out of New York. I always send her your stuff. I show her your listings. Can you help her? And like, I got her mom pre-approved. And she bought a really nice, like 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Arlington, like 2,000 square feet on a corner lot with a huge backyard, 2 stories.
Coming from New York, I'm sure she was like, this is crazy.
For $275? Like, what? Like, she loved it. Like, she brought her whole family down. You know, that was the first house I ever sold. But even that, like, I made so many mistakes on my first, and it's so funny because I look at my deals now, and clients who, like, you guys who gave me that opportunity, thank you, and I'm sorry. But I did mess up. It's like, seriously, like, I don't want to say they were my guinea pigs, but, like, that was my first transaction. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just winging it. And the thing is, you as a buyer, you don't know. You're just like, hey, you're the agent. You're supposed to know. And, like, it was, like, certain things, like, deadlines I messed up on, and certain savings I could have got them I messed up on, and home warranties I messed up on, and getting the seller to pay closing costs I messed up on, and like telling my client like, oh yeah, like they're asking this, let's go ahead and get this, and like not realizing to like run comps of like, even though a house is listed for this on the market, you need to run comps of like what this house is actually worth, because just as listed at this amount does not necessarily mean that's what it's worth.
So in other words, that trailer home that you sold, you probably could have got it for $75,000.
Probably could have.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Probably could have. And that was just things you don't learn in real estate school. And you don't learn on your first 5 transactions. You don't learn until you do a couple transactions and you mess up on one, then you learn from your mistake, then you mess up on a second, and you learn from that mistake, and you mess up on another one, and then you're like, oh, okay, I got this, you know?
Did you have anybody along the way that came to help you or guide you or mentor you?
No. It sucked. And like realistic, like as a black man in the business world, you and I both know we don't have those mentors, and we don't have people.
So unfortunate.
And it is. It's the real truth. And it's so funny because I get so many people that reach out to me now, and they're like, you need to give back. You need a mentor. You need to teach. Like, can I shadow you? And I'm like, yo, I had to learn so much on my own. I remember like going into brokerages that I found online, I saw in magazines, and like knocking on their door, getting all dressed up in my nice suit and my Burberry tie and my Burberry trench coat my mama got me when I turned 18 and I wanted to get my real estate license. She said, you need a nice trench coat to look like a businessman. I remember having my nice brown shoes and my belt, and I was knocking on these offices in Highland Park saying, hey, I just got my real estate license. Like, can I get a job at the front desk? Can I be someone's assistant? Can I be like an admin for someone? Like, you know, and they're like, no, sorry, we don't hire new people, which I know now is a lie because I'm in the business, you know. I remember going to other brokerages and asking for that same opportunity, and they were like, we do no such thing, we don't offer mentoring, you need to have a certain amount of production to work for us. And now I'm in the business, I know that's also BS. You know, I remember like reaching out to other agents asking them for help, and now I'm selling more than they are. You know, I remember looking up to other agents and then telling me, like, I don't like your image. You're unprofessional. You kind of rough around the edges. Your Instagram and your social media looks like you're a drug dealer or a rapper or a scammer.
People said these things?
Yes. You know, and I just remember being, like, defeated. Like, I dropped out of real estate 3 times. And a lot of people don't know that, you know.
I wanted to talk about that because on the dash, that's what we talk about. You know, the dash is part of your journey. So you didn't just, when you got into real estate, you didn't just finish right away?
No.
So you
I failed the test twice. And I said, well, screw this. And then I was working at, and that's how I got my start, kind of, sort of. And a lot of people don't know that. But I was working at Nordstrom, North Park, in the menswear section. We're like men's designer and like business casual clothes. And so that's realistically where I got my start. And like even getting that job, I lied on that resume and I lied on that application. But like being from New York, I already knew about fashion, I already knew about brands, and I already knew about like costs and sales like that. But I remember like I was in college and I was like, I need a job. Like I need to get me some new clothes, but I wasn't making money like that. And you know, my mom was paying for my college and I wanted to pay for real estate school, which is outside of college.
Okay.
And like,
so you were doing dual. You were going to regular college and
real
also,
estate school was out of my pocket.
Okay.
My parents paid for college. I paid for real estate school out of my pocket.
Were you doing them simultaneously?
Yes, I was. And I was failing my college classes because I cared more about real estate. And my mom was like, why are you failing? I said, Mom, I do not want to be in college. Like, I want to be a real estate agent. And it's so funny how, like, life plays out because now my mama brags about me to the world,
yes,
you know?
Of course.
Like, people be walking up to her like, ain't your son that real estate agent in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I follow him. And my mom be like, boy, why this grown lady that's 50 years old I work with, she giving me a call telling me she follow you on Instagram and Twitter? What's she doing following you on Instagram and Twitter? What is that? And I'm like, Mom, everybody follows me on Instagram and Twitter, you know? And so now she loves it. Like, we go shopping in New York and people are walking up to me. She comes to Dallas and people are walking up to me and she just like, yeah, that's my son. I'm like, lady, you wanted me to work at UPS.
That's my, but that's that West Indian culture.
Yeah.
My dad wanted, radio was not a real job.
Oh, correct.
You already know.
That was, yes, that's what she said. She said, real estate, that's a part-time gig. That's not a full-time gig. You do that on the side. Like, you need to go get a job, get a 401k and some benefits. And
yeah.
they love the benefits.
They do.
Like, you got a 401k and some benefits, a pension. I was like, I don't want that. Like, I want bigger, Mom. And so that's why I had to pay for real estate. But like I said, I had a vision. And like, no matter what, I was like, I want to get this done. So I started working at Nordstrom. I was commission sales there, which was great because real estate is 100% commission. Mm-hmm. So I was doing commission sales there and I was learning. All of my coworkers hated me. I'll tell you that now. Everyone I worked with at Nordstrom hated me because I was so Brooklyn and I was so hood that like, oh my God, they hated me. They would report me to HR every day. They would go to my manager. Like a customer would be walking up. And me being from like New York, I could tell when somebody got some money. You know, I could pull some money out of people. Like, and that's what's good in sales. You have to learn how to make someone maximize their dollar. And I'm glad I had that background doing retail sales before I did real estate sales. But people woke up, like someone like you would woke up, and I promise you, I would price your outfit before I price you. And I'll look at your shoes, I'll look at your jeans, I'll look at your skin, and then my coworkers see you, and I would run up to you and like block them off. I'm like, how you doing, man? You doing good today? And like, you'd be like, oh, hi. And like, my manager would like, it would be like these all white ladies. And seriously, like, my manager would be like, stop scaring the customers. And I'm like, I didn't scare them. She's like, you ran up to them and screamed at them. I'm like, oh. But then they love that because they're like, oh, I'm getting greeted as soon as I walk in. So they were loving that because it was like, you walk into a store and the employees be looking at you like they better than you, yes. Instead of trying to get your money. You came to spend money. You walked in the store. So I want to spend my money. Spend my money for me. And that was always my mindset. So I would go in there and I'm like, hi, how you doing? They're like, I'm so sorry. I like your shoes. Like, oh, thank you. Like, you need help today? Like, I'm just looking. Like, what are you looking for? Like, I don't know. Like, oh, we got those shoes in a different color. Y'all do? Like, over here. Oh, you know what? Now I need an outfit for these shoes. Like, oh, I know the perfect outfit. Like, are you familiar with this brand? I like your figure. You need to wear stretchy material. Like, stretchy? Really? That's the thing here. We got these stretchy jeans over here, your curves, and like.
So what do you think that helped you to do for real estate? Is just learn people, learn
Real estate
communication?
sales is not real estate sales. Real estate sales is people.
I love that. And so that was preparing you, and you were perfecting your skills.
Correct. Real estate sales is not real estate sales.
So basically what you're telling me is when you go in for a real estate transaction, you have to, you spoke on it earlier. You are building that relationship, but the relationship is not just based on this house. It may be based on the commonality of, oh, I love that blouse, I love that shirt, or I love your shoes, or so this is where you're kind of massaging the relationship.
Think about when you are going somewhere and you want to buy something. The last thing you're talking about during that transaction is what you want to buy. Maybe the reason why you purchased was because you like that person. So if you're going car shopping, you already know you want a car. All you need is for someone to sell it to you because you can't sell your own car.
Yeah.
Now, the kind of car that they sell you is because of how much that person tells you. When you want to buy clothes, you already know you want to buy clothes. You're going out this weekend. You want to look good. You kind of have an idea. I want to do a sexy dress and some heels, but you already have an idea. You can't buy your own clothes. You can't sell your own clothes. But what you jump into differently is because of the person that you worked with. And you might tell someone, I didn't even like this car. I didn't even like this bag. I didn't even like this shoe. I bought it because I liked you. And that's what makes you stand out. And that's what I realized when I did retail sales was it's not about the clothes. Designer clothes and Nike and Prada and a New York t-shirt is all the same crap. Now, what makes the salesperson stand out over another salesperson is the relationship building. Because when you like somebody, it's one flowing transaction. Like you just have fun with them and you trust them and you believe every single thing that they're saying. Like a man that's trying to get in your pants and he good with his words and you just know it don't make no sense, but his words, he just know how to talk and touch the leg and
preach to him.
And you done lost your common sense. And next thing you know, you doing things and you're like, wow, I never thought I would do this. But the relationship is what made you do this big move. That's what real estate sales is.
Because I want to buy a house from you right now. Do you understand?
Hey, let's do it.
I love you. Okay, so really quick. So you drop out of real estate school 3 times. Well, you failed the test twice.
I failed the test twice, and I dropped out of real estate 3 times, yes.
But your vision is what made you stay. Or stick
yes,
with it.
No, it definitely was my vision. I think
because after failing the test twice, wouldn't you be like, you know what, I'm done?
I did. I was like, I'm not taking. No, I failed it the first time. I said, I don't know how. I guess I'm gonna study again. So I studied again, and I failed it again. You take 2 parts. You take your national and your state. So I passed my state, and the first time I failed my national. So I retook my national. I failed it again. And I was like, damn, what the hell? Okay, well, maybe I'll just focus on college. Maybe real estate's not for me. Maybe I don't really want this. And I was in college, and then I was falling asleep during the lectures. And I was doing the homework, and I was like, this is so stupid. And then they made me learn Texas history. We don't have New York history in New York. Like, that's not a class.
Oh, my God.
Texas history is a class.
Oh, yeah, we're proud of our state here.
I didn't know that. So when I'm there teaching me, I kept failing that class. I said, I do not want to take Texas. You know what? If I need to learn Texas history, I might as well just learn Texas real estate. So I was like, let me go study real estate again. Because if I'm going to learn history, I'm going to learn Texas real estate history, something that I really want. And then I passed, and I was like, whoa, okay, thank God. Then I got my license. And like I said, when you get your license and you want to make money, you're watching these $1 million listings, you're Googling commissions, you're watching YouTubes, and, you're seeing like these magazines and D-magazines and whatever it is, and you're watching like these women with the big rings and the bags and the Chanels and the white men with the Range Rovers and the big houses and the Rolexes. And you're like, I want that, but then you don't know how to get it. But you're like, we're in the same position. How they got that and I don't have that? What am I doing wrong? But you have no guidance. You have no one to tell you. So I got my license. I didn't know what to do. So I said, screw it. And I went back to school. focused on school. I hated school. I said, you know what? I need to go back into real estate. So I ended up working at a brokerage, like a national brokerage like Keller Williams. And I was like, woo, I'm motivated. Now I got a job and I came in every single day and did absolutely nothing. Because they don't teach you how to get clients. They don't teach you how to market. They don't teach you how to network.
How did you get your first client?
My first, I'm going to answer the question in two ways. So my first client was like a $750 rental. And I got my first client from being in the office. And another agent that was in the office was like, hey, you sitting over there doing nothing, but you here every day. You want a rental lead? Like, I'm too busy to work it. Can you work it? And I was like, hell yeah. And I worked it. So that's how I got my first rental. My first buyer, I got my first buyer client. One weekend, I dressed up nicely, and I went to Hotel Zaza with a friend. And I'm like Googling, like, where do rich people hang out in Dallas? I was acting like a little hoe. You know, like how the girls, they be like, where the tricks hang out at? Where the rich men? And that was my mindset. I was like, I need to sell a house. Where the rich, I don't know any rich people. I'm 19 years old. Where the rich people be at? So I Googled, and it was like Zaza and the W and the Mansion Hotel in Turtle Creek. And I put on my nice clothes, and I called a friend. I was like, hey, let's go out to this restaurant later on today. And I just remember like just networking. I just remember seeing, like I could tell money. I just remember seeing people and being like, hey, you, like, nice shoes, and just making conversation. And then, you know, it flows. Texas people are nice-ish. And, you know, we just make conversation. I was like, hey, I'm in real estate. This guy's like, well, you know what? I'm in medical school, and I'm going to be a dentist. And I actually just moved here. My buddy right here, I'm staying at his place. He owns a townhome on Ross Ave. And as soon as I finish, I'm going to be looking at buying a house. I think he graduated in like May or something like that. I got my license in February. I want to say I met him in maybe like March or April. I think I met him in April. And he was like, I graduated in like May or June. Circle back with me. Let's be in touch. So I added him on Facebook. So he would see me like post like open house, because I was doing open houses for agents. And then he reached out to me. It was like, hey, man, I didn't close him, though. He wasn't my first sale. That actually was one of my first F-ups. And he was like, hey, man, I want to buy a house from you. My budget is $400. He wanted a rooftop. This is when Ross Ave was building all them rooftop townhomes. And he was like, I want a rooftop townhome. And yeah, so that's how I got my first actual client. Now I lost him because I didn't know anything about actual real estate.
Right.
So he would like ask me about areas, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And he would be like, oh, like, how much should I put in my offer at? How much is this one selling for? And like, he already knew what neighborhoods he wanted to move into, and I didn't know anything about like Bryan Place or Knox Henderson or City Place or Old East Dallas or Ross Ave. So he picked that up, and he was like, yo, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, you're a cool dude, but like, I need someone that's a little bit more experienced to work with me, man. And I lost him, but that's how I picked up my first client.
I'm going to tell you what's so great about your stories. I always say this, great mentorship is not a person that will always take you and lead you down the right path. Great mentors will share the ugly. And so for those that are watching or listening today, like, you are acting as a mentor, because I think what most people believe is that you go to real estate school, well, let me get out here and start selling houses. You know, I'm going to go to my cousin and trying to sell my cousin a house, or, you know, people can't, in your family can't buy houses every day, right? So,
it's but so much.
Exactly. Your first transaction was $125,000, which you got 3% of that. So 2%. 2%.
It was a mobile home, so they ain't pay. Okay. They ain't pay 3%.
Okay, so 2% of that, which
and then my broker took a cut.
So you basically, but it was a transaction.
Yeah.
To date.
But that's what a lot of people don't realize. Yeah. They don't realize too that in real estate you're not always getting 3%. And then you don't get that full 3%. Sometimes you do. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've had some transactions, I get my full 3% and a bonus. Yeah. You know, some transactions, you know, I may get a higher commission or whatever. And then there are other transactions, they're like, this is what they're paying, and you just have to take it.
Wow.
You know?
So 125, you get a percentage of 2% of that transaction was your first. What is the largest transaction to date on a single transaction? How much was the home?
That's $3 million. Well, right under 3. It was 2.795.
But did you see the expression change? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You had a record year during the pandemic.
That's when I blew up during the pandemic.
Y'all, the pandemic was crazy for
Yeah.
real. It was a crazy time to be in real
Yeah.
estate. I was so jealous that I wasn't in real estate at that time. What made you blow up during the pandemic? What set you apart besides your amazing personality? How did things go to the next level?
The pandemic, I'm not going to go too into detail because that was one of the best years of my life, but also one of the worst years of my career towards the end. I'm going to keep the long story short, and those who know, and those who don't know, they don't know. When the pandemic hit, I was right before the pandemic, I was doing a lot of luxury rentals and I was doing sales. Everyone knew me as like that apartment guy, like, so when athletes were in town, like all the girls they were talking to them, they type, those were my friends. So they knew like whatever NFL, whatever NBA, whatever NHL, whatever dude that had the money, whatever baller, whatever it was.
So in other words, he got all the bad chicks on his team.
Correct.
I love it.
I mean, I do. And I use it to my advantage, And, they referred me to all these high-profile men with money that they wanted. And so I was always helping someone get a penthouse and a top-floor unit and a really nice one-bedroom and a really nice single-family rental home. Like, that was my thing. I was cranking out these luxury leases before I was really selling luxury homes. So that's why when I started selling, when I got my big break into selling luxury homes, it was not that hard because when you're doing these $10,000, $15,000 rentals, the same things that are kind of like in those rentals are in the homes, So I already knew about Wolf appliances and like Italian marble and like Turkish countertops. And so anyway, long story short, so I was doing all these luxury rentals. COVID hit. I was like, wow, well, what do I do? And, I had like my little soft period where I didn't know what I would do. Everybody was like, oh, like, let me file for unemployment. Never did that. Let me do a PPE. Never did that. But everyone was trying to find a way to get money. And thank God I had a savings. So I was like, okay, I'm good for 6 months. I ain't going to trip. And I think right when like they started letting you see like apartments again and they started letting you like see houses again, that's what I was doing. I was like, look, y'all, like, look at this great house. And I was still doing my tours. And it was so funny. Everyone that I got these nice apartments, they was like, yo, bro, it's time for me to move, man. Like, I ain't trying to be around all these people. I'm making all this money. I don't want my neighbors to be sick. I got to get out this building. I need my own shit. And I was like, hey, I got you. Like, so of course, if you're spending $5,000 a month on a apartment, that's a $600,000 house, You spend $1 million.
So you just started transitioning
all these
clients.
high-profile luxury renters to luxury buyers during the pandemic because they had families and they did not want to get sick and they needed to get out of these apartments, these townhomes. They needed their own space.
Blessing in disguise.
It was. So literally, it was like my phone was just ringing. Hey man, you like help me? You don't remember me, but you got me this penthouse last year, 2 years ago. Remember my name? I'm like, yeah, I remember you. Like, hey man, I need a house, man. I need a house. Like my lease about to be up. I don't want to renew. I don't want to be touching them elevators, the buttons, the doors. I don't want to be around all these people sick. Like I need to get a house. I need some acres. I need to be away from people. And literally, all of my luxury clients started turning into luxury buyers.
Wow.
And I also had a friend of mine who had a business. And she was a very popular female. And she was actually a client of mine who actually was one of my best clients actually as well. She got like 3 $10,000 apartments from me like within 2 years. Like she was moving every 6 months. Was like, hey, what's the new building? What's the hottest building? Like this building. I want the penthouse units there. Like the penthouse unit is 7. I don't care. I'll take it. All right. So it was like when the pandemic hit, she was like, hey, I see you doing your thing. Like, let's start hanging out. So I started hanging out with this woman and, I was just living my life. I was young, making my money. She's old, but she was old making her money. And we were partying, we were hanging out. We were just living life. And then come to find out, at the end, she was a scam artist. And like, that's kind of sort of why you kind of like see me fall back on like that partying is like, I kind of got attacked because she was a friend of mine. And because she was a friend of mine, I'm the kind of person, if you're my friend, I'm not really in your business. Like, my friendship is what I like about us.
Yeah.
Like, I like you. I like you as a person. I like your mental. Like, I'm not a surface person, you know, and anyone would say, I don't like people because of what they have. I'm not a clout chaser. Like, anyone that knows me and genuinely knows me, they will say, like, I like Leston. Like, he's such a vibe. You know, no one, even if I'm not friends with anybody no more, my business is not out there and their business is not out there. They just, we don't hang out. I mean, Leston too good for me now. Anyone will always say that. They would never say anything negative about me because I like people for people. My friend at the time was one of my best clients, right? And she was referring me to a lot of people. So I was doing good business on my own, and she was doing her business, and she was fixing people's whatever it was and sending me people.
But
and
because of the association, it kind of...
Correct. It was like, oh, he do what she did. And I didn't know what she was doing. That's her business. That's not my business. I have a real estate business. I only know about my business. I don't know about your podcast business, you know? I don't know how you got your equipment. That's none of my business.
Right.
You know? I just know I showed up, we had a good time, I liked you, I liked your show, and I came on here, you know, and I'm learning you as a person.
Yeah.
And I think when that happened, so many people were coming to me like, hey, I love you. I followed you for a long time. I said I want you to be my realtor, and I see you have this association with this female that scammed me and that took my money and never fixed what she was supposed to fix. And I was like, wait, not my friend. Like, not my this my girl, like, not her. And I think as I started hearing these stories, like, I sat down and I was like, hey, I'm in a hard place because, like, people are telling me this, but I don't know this side of you. So is this true? And she's like, no, they're lying. This is not true. And I can say I can give half of my popularity and success was to her as well. Because how I did my business was I blew up off of making money from my past clients that came back. Now, how I got to the new people was because of my association with her. Because I done touched a different database of people that I never helped. So,
well, it's always good when you have relationships with people and they are referring people to you, which is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. But I want to also give you your credit. Your social media page is amazing. It's so professional. Your videos over the last, I would even say 6 months to a year.
I got really creative with them.
I mean, they are on another level. Yeah. They are really, really great. Again, they are a vibe. And I think that on top of being a great agent, on top of being a great personality, on top of just being a vibe, because you just genuinely are who you are, mm-hmm. You have become a great marketer.
Oh, yeah.
And I do love seeing the professionalism. Because mm-hmm. in all honesty, if I'm going to hire a real estate agent, now of where I am in my life, I might not want to, see certain things mm-hmm. on the page. Like there may be a separate page, right? Correct. So you have definitely mastered marketing yourself. Let me tell you, first of all, you buy a house from him, he's the only person I know is pulling up with a Louis Vuitton bag. I don't know what's in it, and we're not going to talk about it. But I just know that closing gift is from Louis, okay?
It is, and my clients love their gifts every single time.
Oh,
they be like, wait, it's this. I'm like, go ahead and open it. And they be tagging me. I'm like, I'm not reposting it. So they be like, I just loved it. Yeah, I am.
So, in other words, look.
I take care of my clients. They take care of me, and I take care of my clients.
My goal is to get me a Louis Vuitton package. I don't know what's in it.
Speak it into existence.
But you were going to.
It's not a keychain.
Oh, I already know.
Okay.
You don't give me keychain vibes. All right. So tell everybody how they can contact you. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to come here. When I first hit him up, he was like, me? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just see you're going to be on television. You have to be. Like, this cannot be wasted. What are we talking about?
Right?
Yeah.
I would love that. If y'all know anyone that could get me on TV, get me on TV. Get me $1 million Dallas, selling Dallas, something. I need. Yeah.
And I want everybody to know that it was spoken here first.
Here first.
Okay? Yeah, that is.
On Lady Jade's talk show, a podcast.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's freaking going to happen. Oh my God. I just, y'all, we had a chance to catch up and really get to, just kind of talk offline before we started doing this interview. And the genuineness that you see is genuinely who he is. So I appreciate that because when you're in the end and everybody blowing him up, he's popular.
Yeah.
But being, in the entertainment business, it's so important when you have genuine people and genuine relationships.
And that's the main thing for me now. Like I'm seriously, like during the pandemic and I was towards the end, it really made me realize that you have to watch. And that's another thing as a real estate agent, because you want me to give the people real estate advice. You have to watch who you keep in your crowd, in your presence, in your circle, because you are who you surround yourself with. And seriously, in real estate, your network is your net worth. And like that phrase is so underrated in the business world, and a lot of people don't understand that. Like they're like, "Oh, I'll be networking." Like that's not networking. Isn't really going to get you. It's the people you surround yourself with.
Okay, so real estate is a thing now. Everybody is interested in getting into real estate. We're gonna play mentor for a moment. Everybody wants you to be their mentor.
Okay.
What are 2 to 3 things that somebody breaking into the game, what do they need to focus on? Because they're looking for that new client. They want that multi-million-dollar home, but it's a process.
I'll look at the camera and say this. So, first thing I would tell anyone that's a new agent getting into the business, trying to figure things out, my real advice is to figure out a market and really know it. If whatever specific real estate field you want to get into, figure that out and learn that, and like get to know it like the back of your hand. Mm-hmm. Because like I mentioned to you, once you get the client, getting the client, cool. You need to know that transaction, you need to know the neighborhood. The relationship is what's going to get you the client. The facts about real estate is what's going to close the client. Getting the client is easy. Closing a client is the difficult part. So I would say, 1, you have to figure out a niche-ish. So if it's you want to work luxury, try to learn everything about luxury areas and luxury homes and luxury markets and luxury floors and luxury countertops and luxury appliances and luxury carpet and luxury vinyl plank and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Second, you have to be genuine with your relationships. That's the most, do not be out here trying to sell people. Stop giving random people your business cards. Don't waste your business cards just passing them out, because that's not doing anything. And ask for business. I think that's, No. That's going to be second. Ask for business. I think a lot of people are afraid to ask for business. Mm-hmm. I feel like we feel like just because we're in real estate and you're new, and you tell everyone, they're all going to use you. And that's not the case. So you cannot be afraid as a new agent to ask for business and go out there and say, "Jade, hey girl, what's up? You plan on moving anytime soon?" "Well, I don't know." "Well, when I would love to help you out." Like, "Are you sure? I ain't trying to buy $1 million house now." Like, I don't care about that. I want to help you, Or if you know anyone, send them my way, because that's how you're going to get your client.
That's good.
And I think so that's the main, definitely, like I said, first thing, figure out an area and know it, because now when you get that client, don't be no idiot, but main 2 things, figure out an area or figure out an aspect of real estate, learn it like the back of your hand, and ask for business. And once you get that business, know your stuff behind the scenes to close that business.
I'm so proud of you. I feel like you're like somebody in my family. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I literally, again, I have watched your progression.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I didn't necessarily realize it until I really thought about it. Just watching not only the maturity of the business, but the maturity of the person. Mm-hmm. Weren't you on the Shade Room too? Didn't you make it to the Shade Room or something?
I made it to Baller Alert. I made it to On Site. And I made it to Neighborhood Talk. I didn't make it to the Shade Room yet.
Did you screenshot them and show your mama and say, "Mama, we made it"?
Other people did. because my mom is not good with social media. And her friends were sending her the screenshots. And she's like, son, are you okay? I saw you was posted on the blog. And I was like, it's good things, Mom. It's okay. This is one of the hottest Instagram blogs out. Like, oh, they're not bashing you, right? Like, no, Mom, it's good publicity.
Because Mama's ready to go fight everybody.
Yes, correct.
Okay?
Correct.
I love that. Tell everybody how they can get in contact with you, how they can follow you. We are looking for people also that want to buy homes.
So buying, selling, renting, I help with all of that.
Okay.
I work all price points in all areas. I have a full team. I do understand that. So I do. I have a buyer's agent. I have a listing agent. I have a renting agent. And they're all here to help me. I'm the face of my business. So me personally, I meet all of my clients face to face because I know when people reach out to me, they want to work with me. So I'm not always going to be available, but if I'm not, I have people to delegate those things to.
You got a really good team.
I have a good team. They're behind the scenes though. Like you would never really see them. They're the ones like sending lists and sending emails and sending the contracts. And I'm the one doing the showings. I do all my showings. So, and I do conversations, the expertise, the advice. I do all of that. It's like the background work. They're like,
Yeah.
So you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at LeastX, at I am LeastX, Facebook. I don't really do too much on Facebook. Facebook is like all my Brooklyn friends back home and my family. It's Leston Eustache. That's my full name. There's nothing exciting on there. I honestly barely ever post. I just post a couple closing photos.
We're good with the Twitter and the TikTok.
But, like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, I am LeastX. My phone number is 347-397-8016. Feel free to shoot me a text or give me a call. My email is leston@rogershilley.com. I work for the #1 independent brokerage in the state of Texas, Roger Shilley and Associates. Big up to Roger Shilley. And so, yeah.
I cannot believe I forgot to ask you this. Hello, I got to give you the opportunity to name drop. You said you've been selling all of these homes to all of these famous people. Who are some of the famous people you've sold homes to?
Whew. You know what? They make me sign a lot of NDAs.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, because
so then we're not going to watch his Instagram though, because sometimes every once in a while he gets to post
you'll be surprised. Like seriously, it's been times I've had closings, and then I get like hit with an NDA, and they're like, "Don't post that photo you took at closing," and I'm like, "Why didn't you just tell me that I couldn't take a photo?"
Right.
And they're like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Like you have too much of a following. Like I don't want people like."
But you know what? That's true because now. Maybe they're thinking,
Yeah.
What if somebody holds you hostage and to show me where he lives?
People are crazy now. Yeah. And I think that's what I realized. You guys can see, like, I have, like, Willie Collerstein was one of my biggest transactions as well. I helped a lot of Cowboys players. Dorrance Armstrong, I helped him find a place. He plays for the Cowboys. Jeff Gladney, I helped him find a place. From Black and Blue Chicago. Oh, okay. I helped him find a place. I helped him find his art studio. He's amazing at his tattoos. So if you guys need a tattoo artist in Texas, look at Phor. Phor. He's amazing. I helped Ty Nashiki. He played for the Buffalo Bills. I think he plays for the Cowboys now. I helped him find a place. CJ Prosise, he's amazing. He just had a baby. Baby's adorable. He plays football. I helped him find a place. I helped a lot. I helped a lot of people. The really, really, really exciting ones, like I'm closing on 2 really, really big people this summer. And I'm hoping I get to post them because like that might be like what can take me from like here to like here. Like I'm working with 2 really big, celebrities on moving to Dallas. But like seriously, like those are people that like I'm working with the attorneys mid-transaction, and as soon as we close, it's like you can't post any photos, you can't disclose my name, you can't disclose my financial situation, you can't disclose that I moved to Texas. And it's like people's like, what they doing in Texas? What they doing in Frisco? What they doing in Mansfield? Like aren't they in LA? Aren't they in New York? Aren't they in Atlanta? Like, yeah, they are, but they plan on doing some Texas work soon. I can't ever talk about those people. But, you know, there are a lot of high-profile, big network people I
Well,
help.
congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you. I love to see a black man that dropped out 3 times.
Yeah.
And that
Don't give up.
look at you.
And I
now.
think that's some people need to understand. Don't give up. Chase your dreams. Don't give up.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for the support. Make sure you subscribe to the Dash Podcast YouTube channel. Also, we're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. And feel free to share with some family and friends. Thanks, guys.